In a remote village nestled within endless forests, an incredible story unfolded. Here, in these isolated woodlands, lives Hazel, the devoted forester and the true mistress of the taiga. Hazel's daily life is spent patrolling the same forest paths, undeterred by any challenges. Her mission is to protect the forest and its animals from the threat of poachers. One morning, as Hazel set out on her usual route, she heard an unusual sound near the river, a distressed roar, likely from a bear cub. Concerned, she decided to investigate, moving quietly so as not to startle the animal. Following the sound, she found a bear cub frantically pacing near a pit. Muffled noises drifted up from the pit's depths, confirming her suspicions. Hazel carefully approached the pit, speaking gently to reassure the cub. When the cub saw her, it paused but didn't run, instead watching her with a mixture of curiosity and trust. Hungry and anxious, the cub backed away from the pit, allowing Hazel to get closer. As she peered in, she saw the mother bear trapped below. The bear appeared exhausted but unharmed, likely having fallen into the illegal trap set by poachers. Hazel's heart sank at the sight. Trapping pits were outlawed for hunting as they caused unnecessary suffering to the animals. With quiet determination, she assessed how to free the mother bear. The cub watched her every move, instinctively sensing her intent to help. Hazel knew she needed tools and assistance to rescue the bear safely. She made her way back to the village to gather supplies and alert her fellow rangers. Together, they returned with ropes and wooden planks, crafting a ramp to guide the bear out of the pit. Throughout the process, Hazel continued speaking softly, calming both the mother bear and her cub. After several tense hours, the mother bear finally emerged from the pit, her strength and instinct guiding her to her cub's side. Once reunited, she nudged her cub gently, and they both retreated into the forest. Hazel and her team watched as they disappeared among the trees, their relief tempered by anger toward the poachers who had set such a trap. The rescue of the mother bear and her cub soon became a legendary tale in the village, a testament to Hazel's courage and dedication. Her quick thinking and compassion had saved 2 lives and reminded everyone of the importance of protecting the forest and its inhabitants. For Hazel, it was just another day in the taiga, fulfilling her role as guardian of the wild. Hazel, a dedicated forester and animal lover, couldn't bear to leave the trapped bear behind. The little cub, sensing her good intentions, sat quietly nearby, trusting her completely. Hazel had only one plan in mind: to call for help and place a sturdy log into the pit, allowing the mother bear to climb out on her own. She contacted her friends, explained the situation, and soon, a group was on its way, bringing along fish and other treats for the cub. 3 hours later, they arrived to find the cub waiting patiently, though he grew a bit nervous at the sight of strangers. Recognizing Hazel among them, he relaxed. She gently approached, offering him some of the treats, which he accepted eagerly. With the cub occupied, the men got to work under Hazel's careful guidance. They lowered the large log into the pit at an angle, positioning it as a makeshift ramp. Once the log was in place, everyone stepped back and waited, watching as the mother bear cautiously assessed her escape route. Encouraged by her cub's nearby presence, she began to climb, gripping the log with determination. In a few moments, she was out, free at last. Her cub ran to her joyfully, and she responded by nuzzling and licking him, reassuring her little one that they were together again. As the group quietly prepared to leave, Hazel took one last look back at the reunited pair. The mother bear met her gaze and gave a slight nod, a gesture that felt like an expression of gratitude. It was a peaceful moment, a simple acknowledgement that despite the distance between their worlds, Hazel had earned her trust and respect. The scene left a lasting impression on everyone present, a reminder of the quiet connections we can share with nature and its remarkable creatures. Hazel felt a surge of satisfaction. Today, she had saved 2 of the taiga's majestic residents. But she had no idea that her path would cross with them again in just a month. As usual, she patrolled the forest, admiring the wild beauty around her. It was a perfect day, sunny, peaceful, with a sense of calm that made her work feel effortless. As evening approached, Hazel began making her way back home. But near the river, she caught sight of movement in the distance. Carefully approaching the source of the disturbance, Hazel discovered a campsite nestled in a small clearing. She quickly realized that this was no ordinary tourist camp. Snares, cages, and firearms were scattered around, confirming her worst suspicions. Poachers. Hunting was illegal in this protected area, and it was clear these men were here for the animals she had dedicated her life to protecting. Hazel knew she had to return to the village and alert the authorities. Just as she was backing away to leave unnoticed, 3 men emerged from the trees in her path. Dressed in camouflage, each man looked rugged and well-prepared, carrying knives and at least one visible pistol. Hazel's heart raced as she sized up the threat. She tried to calmly retreat, but one of the men noticed her and signaled to the others. Realizing she would report them, they began to close in. Hazel turned and bolted into the forest, the poachers in close pursuit. She had a small firearm herself, but in the chaos of a chase, she couldn't safely use it, and the poachers, sensing this, were undeterred. Knowing the forest trails well, Hazel darted through familiar paths, gaining some distance. Yet the men matched her speed, firing shots that echoed through the trees, adding to her disorientation. In her panic, Hazel took a wrong turn and found herself at the edge of a steep cliff. The drop was sheer, and there was no safe way down. Cornered, she scanned the forest for options, but the poachers were already closing in, their footsteps loud against the underbrush. Hazel's heart pounded as she weighed her options, knowing that any wrong move could mean the end. Just as she prepared herself for a last stand, a familiar, powerful roar echoed from the nearby trees. To her amazement, the mother bear she had rescued appeared with her cub beside her. The sight stunned both Hazel and the poachers, who paused in confusion. The bear, sensing the threat to her territory and perhaps recognizing Hazel, let out a fierce growl, advancing on the men with unbridled ferocity. The poachers, now facing an enraged mother bear, hesitated, exchanging fearful glances before deciding to retreat. As they fled, Hazel remained frozen, watching as the bear and her cub vanished back into the forest. Overwhelmed with gratitude and relief, she understood the profound bond that had somehow formed between her and the animals she had protected. Hazel returned to her village that evening, safe and unharmed, her heart full of wonder. Her story of courage and the loyalty of the Tegas residents soon became a local legend, a testament to the resilience and unexpected alliances that can arise in the heart of the wilderness. With no other options, Hazel faced the abyss. She hesitated for a split second, a moment that would cost her dearly. Just as she resolved to keep running, a sharp whistle sliced through the air, followed by a searing pain in her thigh. She'd been shot. The pain anchored her to the ground, making escape impossible. Unable to stand, Hazel dragged herself to a nearby tree, leaned her back against its sturdy trunk, and laid her gun in front of her, ready for a last stand. She knew the men were in no rush. They'd catch up soon, and she feared that, weakened by her injury, she wouldn't be able to hold on to her weapon for long. They'd likely disarm her and leave her with no chance to defend herself. Her pulse raced, but she braced herself for whatever was to come. Moments later, she heard footsteps approaching and mocking laughter. The poachers had closed in, smug and confident in their victory. As they approached, Hazel summoned her remaining strength and, with precise aim, fired a shot, hitting one of them in the leg. The man cried out in pain and staggered backward. Her action shattered their amusement, and the humor drained from their faces. Now furious, they advanced with weapons drawn, prepared to put an end to this once and for all. Yet in their rage, they completely missed the shadow looming behind them, a silent force approaching with unmatched stealth. The bear, the same one Hazel had saved weeks ago, had crept up behind the poachers. Hazel watched as the mother bear, massive and imposing, stood only a few paces behind her would-be attackers. She felt a rush of hope, though she dared not move or make a sound. The poachers, oblivious to the danger behind them, raised their guns, but before they could fire, the bear released a bone-chilling roar. The men froze, their faces drained of color as they turned to confront the towering creature. In the blink of an eye, their bravado dissolved into terror. One of them tried to raise his gun, but the bear lunged, her massive paw swiping through the air with terrifying force. The man stumbled backward, dropping his weapon in a panic. They scattered, scrambling away, desperate to escape the bear's fury. The bear let out another thunderous roar, sending the poachers sprinting into the forest, their bravado replaced by sheer terror. Hazel watched them flee, still pressed against the tree, her breathing shallow. She couldn't quite believe what had just happened. The bear, now calm, turned and looked at Hazel. Their eyes met, and in that moment, Hazel felt a deep, unspoken connection with this creature, a recognition of the bond they had formed in the wild. She didn't move, barely even breathed, as the bear seemed to give her a long, knowing look. Then, with a quiet huff, the bear turned and retreated into the shadows of the trees, her cub following close behind. When Hazel finally felt safe enough to move, she gathered her remaining strength and radioed for help. As she waited, the gravity of what had just happened began to sink in. She had been saved by the very animal she had once rescued, a silent guardian who had repaid her kindness in a way she could have never imagined. News of Hazel's encounter spread quickly, and her story became legend. Her close call became a testament to the strength of bonds that could be forged between humans and animals, even in the heart of the wild. For Hazel, it was a powerful reminder of the incredible resilience of nature and the surprising ways it sometimes chooses to protect its own. A thunderous roar shattered the tense silence as two massive paws struck, knocking the pistol from the poacher's hands. In a flash, the men scattered in sheer terror, stumbling over themselves to escape as the bear charged, sending them fleeing into the forest. Once the threat had passed, the bear turned back, calmly approaching Hazel, who was struggling to tie a torn strip of fabric around her wounded leg. As the bear drew closer, Hazel recognized her. This was the very bear she'd saved from a pit only a month ago. Her gratitude swelled when, from behind the trees, a small bear cub appeared and sat beside its mother, looking on with quiet curiosity. Overcome with emotion, Hazel whispered a heartfelt thank you to her unexpected saviors. Their paths had crossed again, and now each had returned the other's life-saving favor. With a final nod, the bears turned and wandered back into the forest, resuming their lives in the wild, while Hazel gathered her strength and began her slow, determined trek back to the village. Following Hazel's tip-off, authorities soon located the poachers' camp deep within the forest. But when they arrived, they discovered something unexpected. The men were trapped in an animal pit, one of the very snares they had set to capture wildlife. It seemed that Hazel's bear friend had done more than scare off her attackers. She had also driven them into a taste of their own medicine. The authorities quickly apprehended the men, confirmed as illegal hunters armed and set to exploit the forest's protected wildlife. Hazel's extraordinary experience spread through the village, filling people with awe and admiration. Her story wasn't just about survival. It revealed the rare bond that had formed between Hazel and the bear, a connection built on mutual acts of courage and compassion. The encounter left a lasting impression on all who heard about it. Hazel's story became a testament to the surprising bonds that can form within the natural world, demonstrating the loyalty animals are capable of and the fragile balance that exists between humans and wildlife. Her unique connection with the bear revealed the unpredictable beauty of the wild, showing that even the most formidable creatures can become protectors when treated with respect and kindness. This story spread through the village and beyond, inspiring both admiration and reflection. It highlighted the resilience and strength found in both humans and animals, and it reminded everyone of the forest's hidden wonders, capable of shaping lives in extraordinary ways. Hazel's journey was more than just a tale of survival. It was a powerful message about the unspoken alliances that can emerge in nature and the understanding that can form between species when compassion is present. Hazel's experience showed how profound connections often form in times of crisis. Facing danger, she found an unlikely ally in a bear, the creature most would fear. This powerful encounter highlighted how courage and kindness can unite beings across vast differences. By showing respect to the bear and her cub, Hazel earned a trust that defied typical boundaries of fear. As her story spread, it became a beacon of hope, inspiring others to view nature with greater respect and wonder. Hazel's bond with the bear taught the villagers to see the forest as more than wilderness, but as a place filled with potential allies and stories. For Hazel, this deepened her commitment to the animals she protected, reminding her that acts of kindness and bravery are never forgotten. Her tale became a local legend, a testament to the hidden alliances waiting to be discovered in nature. Hazel's journey proved that sometimes the wildest places reveal the strongest connections, showing that kindness and courage can bridge even the widest gaps and leave a lasting impact.